Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. It's Friday and it's time to get through all of the positional rankings. So I understand that it's kind of difficult to visualize. I'm just going to read you off the list. So that's why I've already posted all of these rankings on my Instagram page. It's at Nice and Blunt. You can find them all there, so it'll be a lot easier to sort out. But I will just take you through each position. So this might be kind of like a little bit of a longer video, but I hope this is helpful in making your start-sit decision. So let's start off with running back. And this week, obviously, number one is Derrick Henry, no question about it. But number two, I got Jonathan Taylor, and I really trust Jonathan Taylor this week. Christian McCaffrey is not available, so at this point, it's kind of getting a little dicey with Alvin Kamara, and I really think that Jonathan Taylor has established himself as a very, very valuable running back. And against San Francisco, I think he is going to light it up once again. So I got him at number two. Number three, I got Alvin Kamara coming off a bye at Seattle. I think you can be very confident with Alvin Kamara. Same goes for Aaron Jones at number four. And number five, I got Darrell Henderson of the LA Rams going up against Detroit. We saw what Joe Mixon did against Detroit last week, and I really think you should feel confident with Darrell Henderson moving forward. I feel like he's a top 12 running back no matter what, and he's been playing like it, so I really trust Darrell Henderson, my number five running back this week. At number six, I got Joe Mixon going up against Baltimore. Not the best matchup, but still, I think you can really trust the volume, and Joe Mixon is definitely a starter. With all the bye weeks this week, with all the bye weeks this week, there's a lot of players that are just not available who you're normally really counting on. So don't be like too upset if you have some questionable starts, because everyone is kind of scrapping the bottom of the barrel in some type of way. So at number seven, I got DeAndre Swift going up against the Rams, who I think is going to have plenty of garbage time once again. Love the receiving work for DeAndre Swift. At number eight, I got Darrell Williams of the Kansas City Chiefs going up against Tennessee, who have a pretty bad defense. They haven't really been able to stop anyone this year. And number nine is Leonard Fournette versus Chicago. Leonard Fournette has had two really good back-to-back games, and I think that yet again he is going to produce. That's why I have him at number 9 inside the top 10. At 10, I got Chuba Hubbard, who is going up against the Giants. A good matchup for Chuba, so I think you should definitely feel confident in him. In the same game, I got Devontae Booker at number 11. So I feel pretty confident in both of those backups filling in for CMC and Saquon Barkley. At number 12, I got Miles Sanders, who's going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, and they have a very bad run defense. So I think you can definitely boost up Miles Sanders and feel confident with him this week. But at number 13, I had Dearness Johnson, and he put up an amazing stat line: 146 yards on the ground, 22 yards receiving, and a touchdown on Thursday. So hopefully you started Dearness Johnson. I started him in both of my leagues, and I was very happy that paid off for me. At number 14, I got Josh Jacobs going up against Philly, and the weakness of Philly's defense is definitely the run game. So I would trust Josh Jacobs this week. I think he's probably going to score a touchdown. And then at 15, I got Chase Edmonds versus Houston. 16, Mike Davis at Miami, a good matchup for him, but we're still not fully sure what his role. We're not fully sure how much Cordell Patterson is going to limit his role. That's what I'm trying to say. So the upside is a little bit capped with Mike Davis, and at this point, it's all kind of risky, but you don't have that many options, so you kind of got to do the best you can. At number 17, I got Damian Harris going up against the Jets. He had a pretty good game against them earlier in the season, and I think he's going to be leaned on a decent amount. I think they're going to be leading in the second half. So I trust Damian Harris inside the top 20, but no, not really a receiving role for him, so the upside really isn't there. And then at number 18 and 19, I got J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson. So if I was picking between the two, I would actually start J.D. McKissick this week, and I feel like the touch split is going to be about 50-50. Antonio Gibson's shin injury is really concerning for me, honestly. He seems to be starting and playing in each game, but he's also coming off the field, and his touches have been limited recently. So I would actually prefer J.D. McKissick, and I think he's a little bit more likely to get into the end zone. But it's kind of a toss-up, so it's really kind of splitting hairs there. But I do prefer McKissick over Gibson in this game. At number 20, I got Myles Gaskin versus Atlanta, and this is where it's really dicey, but odds are you don't really have that many better options. At number 21, I got Khalil Herbert against Tampa Bay. bad matchup. We know that the Buccaneers' run defense is elite, so a little worried about him. Number 22, Latavius Murray is actually out for this game. So I got Devontae Freeman versus Cincinnati. I might be a little low on Devontae Freeman, but I just don't think that the workload is really going to be there. Very unlikely he sees more than 12 or so carries, and I don't really think he has much of a role in the passing game. So the Bengals' run defense has actually been kind of good, so I'm not too excited about starting Devontae Freeman, but he does have some value. At number 23, at James Conner versus Houston. He could very easily score a touchdown or possibly another 2 in this game. They're definitely going to have some garbage time and run the ball a lot. So James Conner is very interesting, but he is still the second stringer. So just at number 23 for me. And then Elijah Mitchell at number 24 of the 49ers. So this is really kind of where I'm trying to kind of get into the cutoff point with running backs. I would have had Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon around this range as well. Because their touch split is kind of questionable, and I wasn't so excited about the matchup against the Browns. But Javonte Williams paid off, and Melvin Gordon also got into the end zone. I think Javonte Williams is starting to establish himself a little bit more. His role in the receiving game was very important in that game, and his schedule for the playoffs, the fantasy playoffs that is, looks really good. So Javonte Williams is an interesting trade candidate. I would like to have him on my team if I can later in the season. Anyways, I got Alex Collins also in this range at number 25, and this matchup against New Orleans really does not excite me, but neither did it last week against Pittsburgh, and he really paid off in the second half. So I might be a little low on Alex Collins. He's a starting running back after all, so odds are you will probably consider him, but after that, it really gets questionable. You're starting to enter backup territory. I got Jamal Williams, then Michael Carter and A.J. Dillon to round out the top 30. And then some interesting flyers who have the potential to score, but otherwise are just very touchdown dependent. Not too excited about it. Kenyon Drake at number 31, Sony Michel at number 32, Naheem Hines at San Francisco at number 33, Philip Lindsay at number 34, and Ronald Jones at number 35. But I'd really rather not start these players. I feel like this is getting really risky. You got to be pretty desperate to play one of them. But otherwise, I'm not really going to inundate you with any other players after that point. So let's move over to wide receiver. And number 1 is obviously Devontae Adams. Number 2, Tyreek Hill. Number 3, Cooper Kupp. This shouldn't surprise you. They have been lights out this season. At number 4, I got Deebo Samuel going up against the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts have been very bad against the pass. So I think Deebo Samuel is going to be very involved. From what we expect to be Jimmy Garoppolo, which bodes well for the passing game, at least for him. And I think Deebo Samuel is probably I think he's definitely going to score a touchdown. Not probably, definitely going to score a touchdown in this game. So to round out the top 5, I also got DJ Moore at the Giants, and he's clearly the number 1 target for Sam Darnold. Really like DJ Moore. At number 6, I got Mike Evans versus Chicago. Really trust him, and he has the chance to blow up in any game, so I think that's going to happen in this one. Number 7, I got Terry McLaurin at Green Bay, and he's a little bit banged up but questionable, but it looks like he's going to play, so I trust Terry in this matchup. I don't think that Jair Alexander is he's still not ready, so Terry McLaurin will be just fine. And then number 8, I got Calvin Ridley. Even though he hasn't fully produced, and he did miss a couple of weeks ago against the who are they playing? The Dolphins. They were playing the Dolphins in London. He's back, and he's seeing a big workload, so I'm not that worried about Calvin Ridley. He will score eventually. I think the floor is there, so that's why I have him inside the top 10. At number 9 is DeAndre Hopkins versus Houston, and I still trust DeAndre Hopkins. He's getting a lot of targets in the red zone, so that's really helping him, but otherwise, it's just a little concerning because he's not the top 5 option we assumed he would be coming into the year. But still number 9 this week. At number 10, I got DK Metcalf. And this Geno Smith situation is a little concerning. He's also facing Marshawn Lattimore coverage, so not too excited about it, but he's definitely the number 1 wide receiver in Seattle, and can't rank him too much lower than this. Still respect DK a lot. At number 11, I got Jamar Chase, who I'm really excited about, and he's been lights out this year, and I don't feel like it's only going to get better, basically. So really trust him, even though he will have Marshawn Lattimore coverage a decent amount. But when he does get the ball, it's on a lot of deep passes. So Jamar Chase can blow up for a huge game at any point in the season. So I'm not really concerned about this matchup against Marlon Humphrey and the Baltimore Ravens. At number 12, I got A.J. Brown versus Kansas City. And this ranking feels kind of risky, but A.J. Brown is healthy. He's a full go. And Kansas City's defense has been atrocious, especially Daniel Sorensen. Just ask Tyrann Mathieu and all of his concerns when the opponent breaks a massive play. So I think A.J. Brown has some good potential, but it's been risky this year. That's why I only have him at number 12. Usually I would have probably put him in the top 10, but I'm just a little bit concerned about this passing game for the Titans. At number 13, I got Marquise Brown, and I kind of want to rank him higher than this, but against Cincinnati, it's a division game, and I feel like there's just a little bit of hesitancy to put him inside the top 10. He's a little bit touchdown dependent, but he's been able to blow up for a lot of yards as well. So Marquise Brown is definitely a must start. Same goes for Brandon Cooks. He bounced back last week, as I thought. And Brandon Cooks just has such a heavy workload. He doesn't need to score a touchdown to produce top 20 numbers. So I really trust Brandon Cooks, my wide receiver 14 this week. I also really trust Sterling Shepard. The best rapport with Daniel Jones this season. Darius Slayton is going to be healthy, it looks like, and play in this game. So that may bring him down a little bit, but Sterling Shepard is getting a lot of targets, and in PPR leagues specifically, very, very valuable. So don't discredit Sterling Shepard. He's a really sneaky good play. I got him at number 15 this week against Carolina. At number 16, I got Chris Godwin going up against Chicago as well. And Chris Godwin hasn't really had as many touchdowns this year, but he's still getting a big workload, and I really trust the floor for Chris Godwin. At number 17, in the same vein as Robert Woods, going up against Detroit, and it looks like he's back in the mix. You can definitely trust Robert Woods, and I like his potential in this matchup. Keep in mind, it is a revenge game for not only Jared Goff, but also Matthew Stafford. So I think there's going to be a lot of points put up by the Rams, and they are going to demolish the Detroit Lions. And I think Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are obviously going to be a very big part of that. So trust him. I had Cortland Sutton at number 18, but obviously already played. At number 19, I got T. Higgins at Baltimore. And I think he's going to have I think he's also going to get some Marlon Humphrey coverage. So a little bit down on T. Higgins the rest of season. I think he's been overtaken by Jamar Chase, but still T. Higgins is the number 2 wide receiver for Joe Burrow, and I do trust him inside the top 20 this week. I got Michael Pittman right behind him at number 20. And the addition of T.Y. Hilton is a little bit concerning, but I still think that he's the number 1 wide receiver, and his rapport with Carson Wentz is pretty good. So I still trust him against San Francisco. The 49ers' secondary is not that good. So I think it's a decent matchup. And then I got Antonio Brown versus Chicago as well. And he's a little questionable in this game, I believe, but I think he will suit up, and I think he'll be just fine. He's had a lot of potential this season. Just a great player. We know that AB is going to show up. So I'd like to start him if I can. Julio Jones is my number 22 wide receiver. Very good matchup against Kansas City. But he's been coming out of every single game that he's played with injuries mid-game. So a little bit concerned in that regard, but still trust him. That play with that sideline catch last week was crazy. You know that Julio Jones is a great player. I'm just a little bit concerned that he doesn't finish the game and isn't totally healthy to come into the game either. At number 23, this feels really risky, but I've got Tyler Lockett at New Orleans. And I think Marshawn Lattimore is going to be covering DK Metcalf so much that Geno Smith will be looking for Tyler Lockett. But this is the zone where it's really concerning. And if it wasn't for the tougher coverage going to DK Metcalf, I would be very worried about Tyler Lockett. But a decent floor, and we know his upside is there. So still consider him a flex play, but it feels dicey. Same goes for Allen Robinson, who I got at number 24. And it's really just this matchup that makes me interested in playing Allen Robinson. He's going up against Tampa Bay, and we know that they have a terrible secondary. They've been giving up a shit ton of passing yards. So I think you can kind of trust Allen Robinson in flex territory this week, but damn, it's risky. I feel like this might be too high, but at the end of the day, I still respect Allen Robinson's talent a decent amount, so that's why he's at number 24. At number 25, I got Jalen Waddle, and this may be risky. Every time I really believe in Jalen Waddle, he doesn't show up, and then once I discredit him, he gets double-digit targets and has a massive, massive game. But the fact that he's playing with Tua once again is really beneficial for him. However, Devontae Parker is expected to play in this game once again, so that's the only thing kind of capping his upside. I'm a little bit worried about Jalen Waddle, but it's a good matchup against Atlanta, so that's why I got him at number 25. At number 26, another rookie, Devontae Smith, going up against Las Vegas. And he does have kind of a tough matchup against Casey Hayward, a very good corner, but I think you can still kind of trust him as a decent flex play. I'm not too worried about this matchup. At number 27, I think the workload will come back for Jacoby Myers. The Jets don't really have the best defense, especially in the secondary, so I think Jacoby Myers is a decent top 30 play, but only because there's so many players either injured or on bye this week. At number 28 and 29, two Raiders receivers, Hunter Renfrow and Henry Ruggs. They've been playing like top 35 wide receivers, and I think Derek Carr is going to get the ball to them pretty consistently. So I think both of them are top 30 plays this week. Marquez Callaway is at number 30 to round out the top 30 at Seattle, and Michael Thomas is still not ready to come back. Looks like he's going to miss another couple games at least. So Marquez Callaway is an interesting flex play, and I think Jameis Winston also has some potential. I'll cover quarterbacks next, so I'll mention him a little bit later. At number 31, I think the wide receiver 2 for Kyler Murray in Arizona is A.J. Green at this point, and I trust his floor going up against Houston. I think it's a decent spot for him, but still just a flex territory. There is some risk involved because there's a lot of mouths to feed in Arizona. At number 32, I got Devontae Parker, and I kind of want to rank him higher, but he is coming off a bit of an injury, and I'm not too secure with his rapport with Tua. So that's why he's still just in low-end flex territory, but an interesting play in PPR formats. He's seen 7 or 9 targets in every game that he's played this year, so some interesting upside and a good floor for Devontae Parker. Robbie Anderson is starting to come back to life a little bit, and the main reason why I have him at number 33 this high is because Terrace Marshall has a concussion, so fewer options in the passing game. I think Robbie Anderson will get a decent amount of targets, but it's definitely risky at this point. I'm not too excited about him or Tyler Boyd at number 34. So definitely more floor plays than upside plays, but interesting considerations if you are starting to get a little desperate. This week is definitely going to test your depth. So don't be too upset if you don't really have all the players. It's just 1 week, and it is a longer season this year, so I think it will figure itself out in the end. At number 35, I had Jarvis Landry just above Odell Beckham, and they kind of had a rough game, not the most upside. And with Case Keenum, it's not that it's like a major downgrade from Baker. Like Baker wasn't really throwing the ball that much, but this team is just so run heavy that I just don't really feel confident putting either Browns wide receiver inside my top 30. At number 37, you're starting to chase some upside, and it's definitely risky, but I got Mecole Hardman at Tennessee. Very good matchup, but again, he's kind of the third or fourth option, and sometimes he gets forgotten. So Mecole Hardman is only an interesting flyer if you are kind of desperate. And then here, you're just kind of chasing upside. You're hoping for a touchdown and some deep passes, but I got Darnell Mooney at 38 against Tampa Bay. There's definitely some potential for that. Christian Kirk versus Houston. He's kind of had a reliable rapport, but still a little dicey. Tim Patrick, I had at number 40, and if he came down with the ball in the end zone, he would have had a decent game, but very, very tough game to watch. I did start Tim Patrick in one of my leagues. Not excited about that. That kind of sucked, but thankfully Dearness Johnson kind of saved me as well. So hopefully I can edge out the win despite Tim Patrick. I also got Rondale Moore, number 41, who I'm going to be starting in the same league. I got a very limited depth at wide receiver on that team, so I'm a little bit worried about it. But Rondale Moore does have the potential to blow up, so I still believe in the talent, but in this rookie season, there's just so many mouths to feed. Zach Ertz is also there now, so I'm a little bit worried about Rondale Moore. I have him as the third, well, I guess the fourth Arizona wide receiver. And then to run to the top 45, I got Corey Davis, who's going to get the Belichick treatment. Don't want to start Corey Davis this week. Not excited about it at all. Then I got Nelson Aguilar in the same game. I definitely prefer Jacoby Myers, and Kendrick Bourne is starting to come alive a little bit too, but Aguilar is kind of interesting. But Brandon Ayuk and Amon-Ra St. Brown are going to round out my top 45 at the wide receiver position. So a little bit hesitant to start either of them. They definitely come with a lot of risk. Excuse me. Let's move on to quarterback, where I got Patrick Mahomes at Tennessee. Number one, definitely Kyler Murray at number 2 versus Houston. Then Lamar Jackson versus Cincinnati. Those are no-brainers. And number 4, I really trust Matthew Stafford in this revenge game against Detroit. You know that they're going to want to put up a shit ton of points. So Matthew Stafford definitely top 5 option at quarterback this week. Then I got Aaron Rodgers versus Washington. Their defense has been terrible. I really trust Rodgers. Tom Brady versus Chicago. I don't think he's going to forget that it's 4th down this time, and I think he's going to be just fine. But this isn't an ideal matchup. I think obviously you're going to start Tom Brady if you got him. But so let's just move on. Then I got Jalen Hurts at Las Vegas, and like I said earlier with Miles Sanders, they got a very bad run defense. So I trust Jalen Hurts a decent amount. Top 7 quarterback this week. Number 8, I got Joe Burrow at Baltimore. I think he's going to need to throw the ball a lot to keep up with Lamar Jackson. They're going to be limiting the ground game quite a bit. And number 9, I got Ryan Tannehill. Very good matchup against the Chiefs. Definitely want to start Ryan Tannehill this week, even though there's some risk involved. But at number 10, I got Derek Carr versus Philly, who's also just throwing a lot of passing yards this year. One of the league leaders, and I definitely trust his floor for sure. But this isn't the best matchup. Philly's strength in the defensive side is the secondary, so a little bit worried about it. But let's enter streaming territory. I got Sam Darnold at number 11, and then Jameis Winston at number 12. I really like these 2 quarterbacks as very good streaming options this week, especially in 2 quarterback formats. I am starting Jameis Winston on one of my teams, and I think coming off the bye, you can trust the game plan. I think Sean Payton definitely prepared this team quite well to get this win. So number 13, I got Taylor Heineke. He's going to have a decent amount of garbage time like that for him. Matt Ryan has a pretty decent match against Miami. Their secondary has been pretty bad this year, so he's my number 14 quarterback. And in the same game, I like Tua Tagovailoa against the Falcons. So some decent garbage time and just a bit of shootout potential for both teams in this matchup. And number 16, I got Jimmy Garoppolo versus Indianapolis. Don't really love it, but you're starting to get pretty desperate at this point. Then in the same game, I got Carson Wentz at San Francisco. Then Daniel Jones, who's been really bad the last couple weeks. And there's a chance that Stephon Gilmore does suit up in this game. So a little risky with Daniel Jones, but it's really just because the wide receivers and the weapons for the Giants haven't been there. And they do get Darius Slayton back this week. At least that's expected to happen. It will probably be a game time call. But I do think it will happen. So a decent floor for Daniel Jones. And then I had Teddy Bridgewater at Cleveland. He was okay. Then I have Mac Jones versus the Jets. And I think they're not really going to need to rely on the pass to win this game. So a floor play for Mac Jones, but not the highest upside. And then Jared Goff is kind of interesting in this revenge matchup, but it's still the Lions. You can't really trust him. And you know that the Rams know how to bother him, and they're gonna know his weaknesses. So I don't love Jared Goff, and you got to be really desperate to start these players only in 2 quarterback formats. But to round out the top 26, after Jared Goff, I got Case Keenum at 22, Geno Smith at 23, Justin Fields at 24, Davis Mills at 25, and Zach Wilson in last at 26. So really, really asking to lose if you start these players. But if you're in a 2 quarterback format, I get it. Sometimes it gets really competitive. So we'll see what happens. Let's cross our fingers if you're in that situation. Ideally or not. Let's move on to tight end, though. Obviously, Travis Kelce's still number 1, and he's dealing with a neck issue. He got hit in the head really hard in that last game. But I think he'll be okay. You still trust Travis Kelce, obviously. And number 2 is Mark Andrews, and I really trust him at this point. He's got so much upside and a very solid rapport with Lamar Jackson. And he seems to be overtaking Darren Waller, who is kind of really disappointing this year. So I only have number 3, and if there's another dud this week, then I might start to bring him back down. Not too excited about Darren Waller. His success in the past came with no other help in the passing game. And Hunter Renfrow and Henry Ruggs are very involved at this point. And there's a decent amount of balance between the run game in the pass game. So a little bit concerned about Darren Waller, but I still trust his talent. He is a great athlete. So he's at number 3, but we'll see if that comes down next week. Ideally, this is a good game for Darren Waller. At number 4, I got TJ Hawkinson, and you got to trust the volume. There's definitely going to be some garbage time once again. At number 5, I got Kyle Pitts, and I don't know if he's going to see another double-digit targets like he did in London 2 weeks ago, but I do think you can trust Kyle Pitts in this matchup. Miami has not been good on the defensive side, so I got him at number 5. And then Mike Gesicki, a lot of volume for him at number 6. And at number 7, I got Dallas Goedert, and I'm going to start to trust Dallas Goedert as a top 10 play at tight end moving forward now that they've traded away Zach Ertz. I think that was really the only thing holding him back, and his role in the red zone is going to have a big boost. So Dallas Goedert definitely benefits from the Eagles trading away Zach Ertz, and I like him as a top 10 tight end the rest of the season. At number 8, I got Tyler Higbee, and now we're entering more floor plays with, every tight end is touchdown dependent, so there's always some risk, but I think Tyler Higbee at number 8, Noah Fant at number 9, they do get a decent amount of targets, and we saw with Noah Fant, even though he didn't score a touchdown, he had a decent game, 5 receptions for like 39 yards, I want to say, something like that. So in PPR formats, decent score, but again, tight ends are pretty fluky and risky. At number 10, though, I got Ricky Seals-Jones, and I think I trust him at this point with Taylor Heineke. I think his rapport with him is pretty good. Got a little blurry there. Are we back? Yeah, okay, we're back. Your tight end is tricky. So Ricky Seals-Jones is my number 10 tight end. Then I got Hunter Henry at number 11, Zach Ertz at number 12, and O.J. Howard at number 13. I still don't think Gronk is going to play in this game, but obviously if he does, then he would be a top... I'd put him at number 3 above Darren Waller, actually. He'd be a top 3 tight end if Gronk plays, but I still think he's going to sit out one more game, and I think they're trying to trade away O.J. Howard, so he will be involved. He's definitely a little bit more talented than Cameron Brate, in my opinion. At number 14, really chasing the touchdown, but Robert Tonyan is a decent player to do it with. Same goes for Mo Alley Cox at number 15. And then there's a lot of risk after this point, but you never know. So if you need a flyer, 16 through 20 is Gerald Everett, Jonnu Smith, Anthony Firkser, C.J. Uzoma, and Evan Ingram. But play at your own risk. They are definitely not safe plays at the tight end position. And then the last position for this video, I'll try and wrap it up quickly because we're almost at 30 minutes here. The Patriots are my number 1 defense against Zach Wilson and the Jets. We saw them catch 4 interceptions in that first matchup this year. Definitely trust the Patriots. Then I trust the Cardinals against Houston, without a doubt, for sure. Number 3, I got the Saints going up against Seattle, and Geno Smith just really didn't instill any confidence in me. And I think they're also going to shut down Alex Collins. So coming off the bye, I really trust the Saints defense. Then I got the Rams versus Detroit, the Panthers at the Giants, and mainly because of those injuries. And it looks like Stephon Gilmore has a chance to suit up. So I like the Panthers. They've had a pretty good defense this year. I think you can trust them as a top 10 option the rest of the season. At number 6, but obviously, just a quick disclaimer, defenses are always matchup dependent. So they're a good defense, but obviously you want to play the matchups if you don't have one of the best ones. Where am I? Panthers at number 5. Okay, and then number 6 is the Buccaneers versus Chicago, and Justin Fields doesn't really instill much confidence in you. However, the Bucs defense is just so banged up. I can't really rank them inside the top 5, but still decent top 10 play. They do have some talent on that front 7. So Buccaneers at 6. Broncos I had at number 7. They had a decent game, held the Browns to only 17 points, but they gave up a lot of yards. At number 9, I got the Ravens. No, at number 8, though, I had the Browns versus Denver in that Thursday night game. Obviously, it's too late, but still just wanted to put that out there. Number 9, I got the Ravens versus Cincinnati. 10, I got the Jets at New England. Their defense has kind of been okay. Robert Saleh is a defensive coach after all, and New England's offense hasn't been very good. So I think this will be a low-scoring game. And the Jets are an interesting play, but I get it if you'd rather not. Number 11, I got the Colts. Number 12, I got the Falcons. Number 13, the Eagles versus at Las Vegas. Number 14, the Raiders in the same game. And number 15, the Packers versus Washington. But if you're going to start players after this, it's always risky, and no if you'd like to see them, you can check Instagram at Nice and Blunt. Don't want to waste too much more of your time. But if you made it through this video, I really appreciate it. Sorry for this format. I know it's a little odd. I don't really like making these videos without editing. It feels weird to me. But tomorrow is my last day in Maui. I'll post injury updates in the morning before I head to the airport, and this will be the last video from this hotel room, thankfully. So we'll be back to normal on Sunday and through the rest of the season. I promise you that. And thank you so much for watching Nice and Blunt. My name is Adam Riancho, and good luck to you this week. Have a good weekend, and enjoy your day. Thanks.